isn't this yummy? Hello and welcome back to Lorene's Bits and Pieces. I'm Lorene and today we are going to be doing a lovely little recipe from, again, my childhood. Turns out that cooking has been in and around me for a very long time. I never sort of comprehended until I started doing this channel how much cooking was in my life and how much I've really enjoyed gathering recipes and things like that. So what I have is this little collection here. And in this little collection of this very faded and well-loved little self-made book, because you'll get to learn I'm a bit of an artsy crafty person, is a bunch of recipes. And in here it's some of my most awesome spelling has made a reappearance, but today we are going to be making apple sponge, and I'm actually going to do this with the gluten-free flour, and I know I wouldn't have made it with gluten-free flour before, so I'm really looking forward to that. And I'm also going to do it, although I've got butter, I'm going to do it with using almond milk instead of regular milk. I don't have any caster sugar today, so I'm going to be using brown sugar instead of caster sugar. So without any further ado, let's get busy and making this beautiful apple sponge. Right, first of all, we've got 4 green apples, as you can see, 4 lovely green apples here, and we need to peel, core and slice these and pop them into a pot. So let's just zip through that, shall we? Okay, and to this amount of apples, we're going to put 1/4 cup of sugar and 1/4 cup of water. We're going to cover the pan and then we'll cook this until just tender on a medium to low heat. While that is happening, we will be turning our oven onto 180 degrees and it will be going to conventional. While the apples are cooking, what we do is we'll put 50 grams of butter. I've actually softened this down a little bit, not melted it, just softened, just to help it along because it was straight out of the fridge. 1/4 cup of brown sugar. We need 1 egg, half a teaspoon of vanilla, so funny little story about vanilla extract. I don't know if you realize that vanilla extract and vanilla essence actually has, more often than not, you can find the ones without it, but more often not, has alcohol in it. And in this little bottle here, for example, there's actually 35% alcohol by volume. So if you're ever cooking for a family or a friend or someone like that who, for whatever reason, whether it be health reasons or religious reasons or whatever, and they can't have alcohol, and you go to cook something with vanilla essence, be aware to grab the vanilla essence that does not have alcohol in it. A very dear friend of mine didn't realize until she had taken one of her beautiful rolled sponges and as a contribution to the potluck meal, and they said, "Oh, did you use vanilla essence in that?" And she said, "Oh yes, I used my normal stuff." And they said, "Oh, don't think we can eat this because it'll have alcohol in it." And she was like, "Oh my goodness, I am so sorry, I didn't even know." So there you go, an interesting little story about vanilla extract. I'm not sure you knew about that. I didn't know about it until she told me the story. So there we go. Okay, so we're back to this and we're going to be blending this, or beating it rather. Beat butter, sugar, egg and vanilla until smooth. So let's get to and do that, shall we? Okay, that's pretty good. Just make sure we get those bits of yummy butter down from the sides. And now into this, we're going to sift in the flour, add the milk, and then mix well again. So because I need to put a sifter above that, I'm just going to take that out for a moment. So we have 1 cup of flour. So we're going to pop that in there. How interesting, this recipe does not have baking powder or anything in it. How interesting. We're going to add our milk, which is 1/3 of a cup of milk. And we're going to mix that well as well. And because I'm feeling particularly lazy today, I'm not going to do it with my hands. Also, don't want to ruin my pretty nails. Alright, so that's all ready to go now. Okay, so here's the apples. They have been cooking for a little while, maybe about 10 minutes or so. And you can see that they've softened nicely. There's actually quite a bit of moisture still at the bottom, although the steam is now, it's turning into steam. So I think that's about good. They're kind of stewed, and that 1/4 cup of water was absolutely perfect. I can see that the apples themselves pretty much all uniform and how see-through they are. There we go, all done on that one. And now we pop that into our dish. So here we go, here's our apples. And that can now go into the bottom of our oven-proof dish. You could even pull it off the heat just a little bit before now if you wanted to. You might even like to pop some cinnamon in the apple. In fact, do you know what? I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to sprinkle it a little bit with cinnamon, because that flavor combo of apples and cinnamon, yummy. Here we go. A sprinkle of cinnamon just across the top of the apples there. Lovely. And now the recipe says to just spoon evenly this across the top of it, the flour mixture. I wonder sometimes with the different flour, being the gluten-free flour, if it's thickened up a little bit more than what it would have been if it had been a regular flour dish. But to be honest, I can't remember. It's a long time since I've made this recipe. You probably could put a little bit of cinnamon in with the dry ingredients if you wanted to do it that way instead, but I think either way would work fine. That's the thing with cooking and baking and such, is that you can get a little bit adventurous. You know, I've been cooking for a long time, as we've since discovered. And you know, when you've been doing something for such a long time, you forget that it's kind of a skill that maybe not everybody has. So the experimentation comes with confidence, of course, and that's what my channel's really about. I want to give you the confidence to get out there and create some yummy things that are not too terribly complicated, that you can have some fun with. That's really my desire for you, to just have fun. Have fun in the kitchen, have fun out in your life. Your life is and the world is way too serious. And I want to bring a bit more of that fun into your life.
and maybe inspire you a little bit to get out there and just do some things. Even if you're stuck at home and can't get out, like pretty much all of these things was stuff, except for the apples, it was stuff that I had just sitting in my cupboard. Alright, so now we're going to pop this into the oven to bake at 180 degrees for 25 to 35 minutes. So knowing my particular oven, I'm going to put it in for 25 minutes and check it, and then we'll have a look at it after that. Okay? So here's a fun thing that I've been working on over the winter, is growing some snow peas and some sugar snap peas, and I can't remember which way around they are. So I actually popped those seeds in the soil and about, I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago now, and look how far they're growing already. But what I really wanted to show you was this carrot right here. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen those things where you, like those hacks where you can chop the top off a carrot and pop it in some water, and then from there you can actually regrow the tops, and then you can actually regrow your carrot. So as you can see, there's an awful lot of carrot top here, and I have absolutely no idea what's happening under the soil under there. So I'm looking forward to being able to pull that out at some point, or I'm thinking, do I let it go to seed? What should I do? Should I pull it out, or shall I let it go to seed, and that way I get even more carrots for my one carrot? I don't know. You tell me. Tell me in the comments below what you think I should do with the good old carrot in the garden, because I'm really not sure. Okay, my beautiful friends, this is at 25 minutes, and it is starting to brown a little bit on the top there, but I'm not happy with how it is totally cooked yet. So I'm going to put it in for another 5 minutes, alright? So that would take it up to 30 minutes. Okie dokie, my friends, here we go. It's nicely browned on the top. It's just golden looking. Isn't that amazing? And so let's just pop a little bit of this. I don't know about it being called a sponge. I don't know quite where my home ec teacher got that from. But it could be that the different flour has changed the consistency. Let's get our laughing gear around that one, hey? Wow, I wish you had smell-o-vision. I know it doesn't look like much, but I can tell you, it smells absolutely delicious. So let's see how we go, hey? Oh wow! This actually really surprises me, and I don't know why it surprises me. But those Granny Smith apples have a beautiful tartness to them, and with that little bit of cinnamon just sprinkled over the top there, there's a tiny bit of cinnamon flavour through there too, and that topping is actually kind of like a biscuit. It's really funny. I wasn't expecting it to be quite that solid, but at the same time I kind of was, because if you recall, I said this recipe has no baking powder or anything in it, so it kind of makes sense that it would come out kind of like a biscuit. But when you have it all together like that, the flavours themselves really do complement each other, and there's no reason why it shouldn't. Maybe I'll do another version of this another time, maybe just privately, with the proper flour and stuff, but to be honest, I don't think it'll make much of a difference. But yeah, that is really, really tasty. And of course you can put this with a dollop of vanilla ice cream, or just some regular whipped cream, or even just some thickened cream if you wish. And it would taste absolutely delicious. But this actually on its own is an amazing dessert. So there we go. Maybe let's call it a gluten-free
biscuit pie. I think that's a great name. So thank you so much for watching. I'd like to just bring your attention to this amazing scarf that I've been wearing today. It was gifted to me by a very dear friend over in Canada, and how did I get so lucky to have such a beautiful sparkly piece of goodness in my wardrobe. So thank you very, very much for watching. Thank you to my dear friend for contributing to my outfit today, and I encourage you to be bold, be brave, be you. Get out there, experiment with your cooking, and I'll see you on the next one. I adore you guys. Mwah.